Today I'm going to talk something about the climate change implication in aquatic developments. Then what is the fisheries, how the fishes made impact, how fishes resources are going to be impact our economy, and thereby how can we secure the food security. People are nowadays talking, everybody is talking of food security. In this context, how my work was last 20-25 years. I started my research careers during 1986 and exactly completing 16-30 years. So I got another distinction being IUCN member. So they made me, I am one of the specialists in freshwater fisheries group. Okay. I'll tell later. In all my research laboratory is called Eco Technology, and we propose now few remedial measures to improve and present various activities generated and educate all sectors of society on environmental and to facilitate exchange of information on environmental issues, foster greater awareness of environmental and water conservation by highlighting the urgency and magnitude of environmental issues facing modern society. In this context, my work on various water bodies, which is a new technology, can be usable to replace traditional and old methods of detection of better water quality. This can definitely help present generation to equip themselves to act faster and accurate results. With this aim, I started work. Now, I'm achieved something, I'll come to this. Last year during 1916, Hawaii, in the USA, I gone there as one of the members of the global parliament, that is called a global environmental parliament, where a president of US, Barack Obama, is addressing and is telling that Congress name is World Conservation Congress. I'm quoting once again, it is important since climate change and conservation are two things instinctively linked. That's what I'm telling very precisely. These two ideas, climate change and conservation, it is independently linked each other. And he also made that day he pronounced one particular area, he made a conservation area. The total extension is double than the state of Texas. I'm telling 8,000 delegates, we are almost 8,000 delegates we are there, 163 countries, and everybody is very happy with this announcement. That means science make nowadays more effect, and everybody, I'm telling, just imagine, to double the size of Texas state, that means it is almost like Indian, that much big. And interestingly, 3rd of this month, Honorable Prime Minister of India, Dr. Modi ji, during this 104th Indian Science Congress, emphasized on tapping of enormous opportunities in energy, food, medicine, and other natural resources. And he further stated, the ocean economy should be significantly dimensioned to our sustainable future. The ocean surroundings in India Peninsula are going to be the next exclusive economic zone, he announced that day. While 7,500 kilometer long coastal line is always been dubbed as an untapped asset. That means even the political scenario, people are recognizing what could be a most important events to be focused by the scientists. And such a massive rally I think 10,000, 12,000 people are there, scientists. This eye-opening, that's what I'm very focusing on that. Either in the US or in India, even the political scenario telling us what type of research we need to be done. And he's telling further, he identified that 1,300 plus islands around the peninsula and 2.4 million square kilometers of area in this zone as having a potential to influence the nation economy has kindled enough interest on the exclusive economic zone. I think in the near future, this is going to happen in India. That's case, once again, this is lot of food security for Indians. Globally, the US president is thinking of how to make a conservation, and Indian context, even our prime minister is also making the efforts to conservation. It definitely doubles or many folds our food security. Yeah, that's what I told you once again. As a member of IUCN, World Global Environmental Parliament, it was my privilege, at least I have to tell something about the scientists present over here. What is our urgency to do something? One is the climate change protection, second is conservation, third is how to manage the food security or how to feed our people. Especially in this context, I worked on two areas. One is water quality. The water quality mainly I'm doing because if the water is good, then the production of fish is very much. Then fish production goes, the cheap proteins can be available to millions of the people. Thereby, this is also linked with the food security. Then, when it comes to the climate change, the rising the sea surface temperatures, that's what President of US is very precisely emphasized there. The temperature rise is melting lot of ice in the Alaska area, and they are losing a lot of animals, especially aquatic ecosystem during overflooding. The same contest is happening in Indian context also. Rising sea surface temperature, ocean acidification, and rising the sea levels will affect 1,600 species of fish that lives on the Great Barrier Reef. These fish are an essential part of the ecosystem which supports the commercial and recreational fisheries and tourism. In this context, I published a news article with my research. I can focus on one thing. As many 12 indigenous Indian fishes. I'm telling my work area is only two districts, Bangalore and Mandya districts, where I could see the freshwater lakes were abundant. Now, all the freshwater is going to be drying now because of lack of rain, one. Second thing, the interlinkage of the ecosystem, that means ponds and lakes also obstructed by somebody's encroaching. With this effect, as many 12 indigenous Indian fishes found in the city of the lakes facing a danger of ongoing extinction. That means I already found that after 12, 3 are no more going to be available in Indian context. It will be going to be extinct. And we have taken around 10 lakes in Bangalore. The 10 lakes, whatever indigenous fishes, it was very much more in the number. The common people used to get easily catch the fish, they used to eat. Now, because of the two reasons, one is introduced fishes is giving threat to these indigenous fishes, one. Second thing, lack of feeding water. That means the connectivity is obstructed or somebody is encroaching this type of activities made. In Karnataka, especially, I'm telling, what I worked in that area, 101 freshwater fish species have been found. Out of this, 40 fish species are under threat and they need urgent conservation. That's what I'm telling you. Either Indian context or in abroad context, people are thinking the more than climate change, conservation. If the conservations, I'll come further. If conservation happens, automatically climate change will be going to be maintained. For this, had a given one talk in the YouTube. This how the waste of sewage laden water treatment as a biotechnology or eco-technology is particularly in my topic. This one, a use of new algae. That's what a new algae for a clean and green environment. This is the first concept I developed for how to make a water to clean. There, the new algae is a component, a nutrient. Suppose we are introduced that one into water, then 50% of diatoms are used for a world marine food now. Generally, the nanonutrients in the new algae, the nanonutrient, once again I'm telling, this is a nanonutrient. The new algae are targeted to produce beneficial diatoms that do not provide toxin in the dose of less than 2.25 ppm. And it does not add to change in the water quality or in the water bodies. That's what is specifically we tested in our laboratory that hey, this dosage never harms either the quality of the water or quality of the water bodies. It has been tested in the field condition that are about to bring the remarkable results in polluted water bodies. It is used to aquaculture for growth of fish and shrimp. New algae has been used to clean lakes. Especially I'm telling in Bangalore we have 81 lakes. It was 360 lakes 25 years back. Last 10 years we have got only 81 lakes in Bangalore. Out of 81, only not even a single lake is now usable for freshwater. Everything is polluted. In this context, I thought of something that introducing the new algae. So introducing new algae, what happens? It's slowly absorbed by diatoms, and diatoms start producing photosynthesis, thereby a lot of production of oxygen, and within a short time, the water is totally oxygenated, thereby we can see the water is getting cleansed. The DO level is going to increase. Thereby we can have two advantages here. One, because the DO level is increasing, automatically the water get cleaner. Second thing, the diatoms number is increasing, zooplankton quality. Then the fish eats the zooplanktons, and zooplanktons converted as a fish proteins later. So this is what I found out in my laboratory. The use of new algae has become two purposes. One, cleansing the water. Second, it also produces the enormous fish population. So once again I'm telling you, this is also consisting food security. So what is the benefits of this new algae? Presently we are doing research. Growing phytoplankton in the sea offsets the global carbon dioxide and reduces the greenhouse effect, thereby solving the global warming problems. Today, because of our good agriculture practices, and we are increasing a lot of greenhouse gas, we are producing a lot of carbon dioxide. It almost affects the environment and also the climate change. Though these good practices, but it adversely affects the climate change. Oxygen level in the water and the atmosphere is increasing due to the growth of phytoplankton. Once again, oxygen level in the water and atmosphere is increasing due to the growth of phytoplankton, which is essential for survival of the other aquatic species. It should be interesting to note that 25% of the oxygen in the whole world is produced by planktons, which is present in the water. If the water quality is degenerating, then automatically all the planktons will be going to destroy. Definitely we are going to be shortage of oxygen production in the environment. Oxygen production, 50% is only forests and trees. Remaining 25 to 30% is from planktons of the water bodies, either in the freshwater or in the seas. Okay. Suppose you are making the polluted water, then automatically we are getting less 25% of the oxygen in the atmosphere. Generally, it treats the sewage and especially the snow algae. We tested in two lakes in the Bangalore area where it was totally polluted water. The all sewage is let inside the lakes. Then, after doing these experiments, we are diluting few liters of new algae. Then, the entire water within month of span of 2 months, the water is totally became potable water. It's good water. That is called Venkaya tank in the Bangalore. And, and we could see the fish's maximum growth is only for 0.5 kg. Now we are getting 4 to 5 kgs of fish growth. That indicates, I'm telling you, momentarily it is showing some very good results. So I'm telling the clean water, food security definitely needs some research like new technology, that is nanotechnology, we are using as a high level of proteins. We can see this diagram. This is a Kangate lake where it was totally potable water 10 years back. Now not even a single drop of water is there. It's entirely eutrophicated. Because of all pollution water enter inside that lake, then the lake is totally died and we cannot even identify that particular lake today. Then, how the fishes, today what happens, the fish migrations became very rampant. The freshwater fish is totally now going to be extinct, or as I told, 12 species are going to be extincted. And now, what I worked with my PhD and still is going on for last 30 years, the fish what I use is Glossogopus gaiaris, that is a gobet fish. This fish was, earlier it was in the seas, is a saltwater fish. Now, the seawater fish at last now lives in the freshwater. Just imagine how the diversification is going on. And it's very, very pathetic that neither the freshwater fishes are very comfortable in their own habitat because of the habitat loss, or the saltwater fishes coming to the freshwater may be giving threat to the native and indigenous fishes. This paper was published in a Brazilian journal. Then, during my PhD and later, because this talk I should be given for 20 years of my data, that's what I'm focusing on this. I studied something, how the salinity affects on a population of the fish, a classic study. There, I could see, I conducted some experiments, artificial seawater, 10%, 20%, 30%. Then I could see that the growth of the ovary when compared to the control. The growth of the ovary is going to be totally damaging. That means in long range, the seawater, though the fishes came from seawater, this seawater now you subjected back, then the population that fecundity, that means number of the eggs are going to be less, then the production of the fishes will be very less. So in that case, I'm telling any fishes coming from one environment to or one habitat to other habitat, it have a greater impact. Neither the population increasing nor its protein capacity. So this is some of the experiments what I conducted. I seen various months of the year how the growth of the tissues, but continuously showing, especially in the breeding season, it is more when all other season less. That indicates once again, when the environment is congenial, the habitat is very good, then only it shows goodness. But whereas our indigenous species never do like that. Whatever the condition, what is the prevailing, what is the existing condition prevails, it always suits and it always poses a good results. Same thing. I checked on even hypothalamus, hypophysis, and gonadal axis. What is the hormone? Which is the hormone is responsible about exactly what is happening? Then I could find out that even hypothalamus, hormonal axis also acts on totally different or different ambience of water quality. And I also subjected for total photophysics, that is total darkness, 12 hours light, 12 hours dark, 8 hours light, 16 hours dark, vice versa. There also I could see that no progress. That means what I'm telling exactly is any habitat, that fish which is from seawater to freshwater cannot sustain long way. That it never supports the food security of India. So the food security definitely goes the indigenous fishes or native fishes. If you take care of its own habitat, it definitely gives lots of results, and thereby the local people get easily caught them, and definitely it gives lot of proteins for them. So these are the very classic examples what I'm giving is, you can see 3 years how the water body is getting reduced in Bangalore context. Where you can see here, this one, we can see a big water body. Later it reduced, and you can see this slowly attachments are coming, anthropological activity. There you can see the entire area is totally focused, and it was there before like this. Now it is totally become this. I'm telling now people are thinking only house is very important. Then so all the lakes are enclosed beyond our imagination, and that is giving great threat to ecosystem, especially aquatic ecosystem. This is the one other classic example of another lake. What I can show you is, it was before like this. Now slowly they laid all these formations. I think after next 2 years, I think the lake will be no more. What I told you before slide, full lake is no water present. Then once again, as President Obama is pointed that sea level rise, either in the melting of the a lot of ice in the Alaska area, or the projecting the sea levels rise and around the great suggest much of the coastline will be inundated with water, resulting the major changes in mangrove and seagrass beds in these areas. This habitat provides protection and food resources for juvenile fish. There are also species of the fish of the Great Barrier Reef that lives in the both freshwater and the saltwater habitat, and changes to the pathway between these two habitats will make move between them difficult for these species, including the ormandi. That specifically I'm telling, these are the concept we derived from while doing research. Then keeping this concept, we started doing something that's what the seawater fish can, is it viable to grow in the freshwater, or a freshwater fish can be viable to grow in the seawater? These both are living, but they struggle to survive. It never gives the good results as we think of today replacing the food security. So the concept of we can grow anything anywhere, even there is a habitat loss, is not tenable. And once again, the concept of climate change. What we are always thinking of, what is a climate change? And I heard some Nobel laureate is giving lecture. He's telling we are unnecessarily wasting our money, a lot of money, in the name of repairing the climate change. The climate change is a process where definitely it has changes. He is pointed further telling, last 100 years, you could not see any climate changes more than 6%. Whereas, last 10 years, you could see a climate change for 30%. This is telling this conflict between the nature and man. And that's what I'm telling, our agriculture practices made us to produce a lot of green gas production. This automatically it increases the carbon dioxide and reduces the oxygen level. And once again I'm telling, the climate change is inevitable. Nobody can prevent. But we should know how to make the changes, adaptability or adjust to our needs. Otherwise, if you think we can reverse it, it is impossible. And once again, I'm telling the Nobel lecture is giving a lecture, I'm heard of that. Is all futile exercise, unnecessary waste of money. So he's telling, instead of putting that money, you can give that money to South Africa, where millions of hunger people, we can substantiate the food. This is the idea given for a political structure. And during this environmental pollution, we thinking of some modern technology, up to days. What is this is? Thermological control panel and sensors. This is a new research we are adopting right now. In the Bangalore Development Authority is control all the lakes in Bangalore metropolitan region. Bangalore Development Authority. There I am one of the advisors to make what to do good for cleansing the water. There you could see two things. One is you want to implant new zone system. Zones means this is what we prepared. This is the basement in the Hiveri Lake. Okay. Then we used to put this on the zones that have all the sensors for pH detection, DO, COD, BOD, and all other things. Okay. So we can detect this one and we can monitor all the time the health of the ecosystem, specifically health of the water system. This is easy to this thing. See, I'm telling. We planted here, red mark. Okay. We can also plant here. This is a GPS nature. So it records all the things. See, data logger, GSM modem, power supply, battery, and waterproof enclosure. All these things are there inside. Okay, we can plot anywhere. This is a zone system. This is what we can see this one. This is a zone. It consists of 10 sensors in this one. So multi-parameter zone. So this especially I put this one in one particular lake. There 10 sensors are there. Each sensor detect everything and give the data. Okay. And from this we concluded that the excessive drainage of water for fishing, irrigation and reclamation, overuse of seashore, conservation of lakes into residential and industrial development, all these things, the major ideas, aims, with this only we started doing the probes. Now, the data is we collected to our laboratory. I'll tell you now. And other countries, especially I gone for USA, some of the countries I could say, even the lake, they plant a lot of trees. Okay. The shore is full of trees, automatically it solves the problem which encounter the lake water quality. That means the DO is depleting, automatically what happens, the trees substitute the carbon dioxide and it automatically produces the oxygen, all these things, the photosynthetic activity, it mixes with water, slowly the water is used to be rectified. These practices were missing in India. I think I greatly urging all the scientists, we can make wherever the water bodies, without water, no ecosystem can sustain the world. If the ecosystem is impaired, all levels, not only conservation, not only climate change, the food security, all disturbance will come. Suppose I'm telling 2 degrees temperature rise in your city, you could not able to compromise yourself. You are not be comfortable in your city for 2 degrees. Just imagine, if you are not neglecting our thing, especially scientific community, you are not, if you are able to neglect something, and we are penalizing all innocent people. Hey, this is what I'm telling. The gap of continuous widening between the demand and for the supply of these water bodies. Especially, I'm telling one particular example of taking a Bangalore as a classical example. 10 years back, our demand is only 600 million liters per day, MLD. That our population is 50 lakhs. Today, our population is 1.25 crores. The growth is within 5 years more than 125%. Okay. Then today's our need for water is 1,200 MLT, where you could not able to produce Bangalore city, not even 100 MLT, and we are depending on Kaveri Basin. We have to pump 125 kilometers. Every liter costs 25 rupees for pumping and cleansing, and it is impossible for such a huge pump and come. I'm telling once again, I told 300 lakes were there in the Bangalore. If the 300 lakes were there in a good condition, then at least our supply, our demand would have reduced by 600 mld of water. Second thing, as I showed you in the lakes are encroaching, that means the population influx is more. All people are making water bodies as house sites. So totally we lost the habitat, we lost the water, we lost and depending on, and as you know, all the civilizations started with water, and especially in Bangalore, we can see our civilization sustaining with outsourcing water. We are getting water from 125 kilometers and every day pumping out. I think that situation should not come. Okay, this is okay. Some extent it's good for human beings. What about the cattle? Where they go and get the water? And so the bird ecology is totally vanished in our Bangalore area. Our cattle system, actually Bangalore is known for cattle breeding. And we used to get very good milk on the Bangalore. Now there is no milk at all. We are depending on milk outsourcing. I think slowly we are depending on everything. That means the concept of the human society civilization started with valleys or water bodies now is going far behind our imagination. I think our research input definitely should see the conservation. That's what I'm telling. That's what I quoted there, President Obama. He's telling he's made an area of conservation double the area of Texas. And our Honorable Prime Minister also making that 125 islands in our peninsula should be protected and thereby conservation should be happen. At this type of magnitude in political view, I think all our scientists should come forward and we can do sustainability of environment and thereby automatically we can control the climate change. Climate change cannot be controlled without doing all such experiments or such a researchers, just pouring out the money in the name of this thing, climate change repair, it is impossible. These are what we did in our lab experiments, how we used all this technology. I used two things. One is, this is the technology. Second thing is nanotechnology is the new algae. These two, we are getting the best results. This is how they used to put, that's what we put in one particular lake. This is how we deployed it. And these are the lab conditions. To the GPS with the satellite, we can retrieve all the results over our laptop. Then we can forward to the government agencies who is important to control over this, either the policy makers, how to do this one. This is a recent technology what we are adopting in our laboratory. So this is one more lake what I showed. The pH should be 6.5 to 7.8. There we are seeing now huge number of pH. That means the water is not even consumable for domestic purpose, not even domestic, not even for cattle drinking water. If this water drinks the cattle, I think the cattle is dying nowadays because new green-blue algae is blooming. The cow, if it drinks this water, then automatically the cow is getting jaundice type and cow is dying. So totally I'm telling you, water pollution is not only one way, it all multi-phases and these things. Such a good water bodies in Bangalore, what I'm telling, 360 lakes now totally vanish. Totally vanish. You cannot even say even one good water sources in Bangalore. And especially when I gone last year for Hawaii in the USA, where the people are thinking of the climate change, and they're focusing this. The change is so much predominant in so many countries. They're telling greenhouse gases it's making warm up of the earth. That they're telling how the agriculture purposes in that particular area is making impact of their climate change. Definitely the climate change of one country cannot be influenced by other country until we make our induced or man-made climatic changes or our negligence. These all just I compared with all other researchers who are doing in abroad. That's what I'm telling you. We have met 163 countries in one problem. We started thinking of and they have contributed something and in their own conceptual. This all what I'm showing is it is not necessarily should follow in our country also. It is only a monumental examples what they're telling. Okay. Then every country or every region or every climatic resources, they have their own influence. Okay, if you make little changes also, it also health ecosystem health also like a human health. If you alter it, obviously we have to be only repeat. They're telling carbon dioxide in Earth atmosphere has raised by about 30% since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Obviously, we have to bear with this because industrial revolution is very essential for our economic growth. And they're telling this by we can see 30% rise in carbon dioxide. Suppose I'm telling, the oxygen production is more with the lake or planktons. This can be reduced some extent. We can be adjustable this. That's what I tell you. Even my research also I could see that the methane gases in the green blue algae, which was present inside the especially polluted or eutrophic lakes, that always kills the cattle. At this extent, I can really agree with even other says also. Other countries, other says also is true in Indian context. Eutrophication, suppose eutrophication, if a lot of methane is there, then cattle heats, definitely cattle die. So this what happen as indirectly I'm telling especially every house there is a two cattle in Bangalore. Now we have one crore 25 lakh people. Hardly we could not see even a few thousands of cattle. That means we cannot maintain the cattle at all. The reason is indirectly that we have polluted the water. Water give back results no animal can sustain or live with this type of environment. And people are keep telling how to conserve water. I think the school children should know, the next generation students should know how to conserve the water. If you are not conserve water for next generation, I think we are not doing good for next generation. This is a classical examples what we are the government and policymakers keep telling. I think it is impossible until the scientific society can trust on this. And second thing, where the hospital material, especially this photo is taken from the Bangalore area, where good hospitals are there, they're putting a lot of medical wastage. Okay, and especially in the Bangalore, we got through two types of threats. What my research is saying that one is e-waste, because it's being a silicon city of the India, all the e-waste is dumped near the water bodies. I think I don't know what to tell. And also hospital waste, they are always putting directly the water bodies. Okay, these both will long implications, especially when I see the agricultural practices in Bangalore area, where I worked that malathion is spreading for insecticide for the vegetables. Okay. They're telling, as prescribed, they're telling 2 ml per liter. These people they put 2 ml only per liter. Okay, after spraying, half the bottle is remaining. The half the full one bottle, remaining bottle, they put into the water body itself while washing. They thoroughly follow 2 ml in 1 liter, whereas disposal they don't know. So entire remaining bottle they put into water body. So it definitely I'm telling you, it's going to be preserved in the sediments. It gives long-term effects for ecosystem therein. So I'm telling the awareness should be, that's what I'm telling, creating the awareness of society is also very important, not only doing research. That's what I'm telling. I gone several times to the media, either in the live TV or I gone several times in the newspaper and telling the local problems for local people instead of I'm publishing a good impact point. That means I'm telling my result to other people rather than my own people. So my conceptual I'm telling is, though I'm publishing some impact journals, something entirely different of my specific area of result, that is what I used to do is toxicology or hormonal studies of hypothalamic system of the fish, whereas all other things, how implications, all other things I used to write in the local newspaper or I had to go to para media and I used to create awareness. At least few people are now slowly formed NGOs and all the NGOs are coming and they're adopting the lakes for themselves. Now slowly the maximum change is going to happen, especially my study area, that really I'm telling the public became so much awareness, then calling all the time, what should be done, this is a problem, this is a problem. And finally the government is recognized my talent of my research and they asked me to give training for all the engineers who is controlling the Lake Development Authority. And I'd given a talk for them. They slowly are coming and every day they're coming. Slowly they're learning. And that's what I'm precisely telling is our scientific temper and knowledge should go to the public. Otherwise our research will be something totally became a selfish or something you are growing for your own, this thing. So this is what really I'm practicing on this. That's what I'm telling. I'm the commission member for environment, economic and social policy. Because of this end, the government of, especially in the USA, they're funding something for us. And I'm going to rural areas, I'm teaching them something which is relevant for what is the environment, how the economics can be managed with the environment, how the social policy can be evolved by the policymakers. With this direction presently we are doing. If this success, at least some villages in near future going to get a very lot of encouragement. I am presently the member for Species Survival Commission for the UCN. So thereby I published something what exactly is happening, how the fish is affecting, especially I am doing freshwater fishers group. I am the member for freshwater fishers group. So I'm telling how the fishes can be saved. So what I'm publishing really what the indigenous fishes, how the indigenous people, how the introduced fishes, all the things, what is the habit loss and all these things, it making little changes. Definitely cannot be changed overnight. At least I'm getting 1% change now. So this is this thing, no, Indian photo. So this photo you can see, no, what this photo you can see is 30 years back. What you can see is now. That means change is inevitable, but adaptations and making necessary changes is today's duty. Nobody can put me back to that age. That means climate change is change. You cannot put that back. With this, I thank all the organizers for giving me the opportunity and give this award for me. Thank you very much.